So, that's pretty much who I am. I mean, I'm a makeup artist, singer. I lived in New York City for a little over 10 years. And then I met somebody, and my parents moved to Vegas. And unfortunately, there was a moment where both of them got sick, and I had to move to Las Vegas. And that's where I've been since.
Oh yeah, I forgot to mention I recently. Well, no, I said that I went back to Houston.
When did you move back to Houston?
Um, Actually March of 2023. So
You mean,
just
you
recently,
mean
a year ago.
22?
22, sorry. Yes,
Oh
22.
my. Wait, you moved to Houston a year ago?
Oh my God, next month will be a year.
Really? Oh
Yes.
my god. I thought you moved there in like September.
No.
Oh my god. Not
I
you
moved
being
like
back for a
late
year.
March. I know, it's crazy.
That is crazy.
Okay.
All right.
So people are probably curious to know, what is House of Tease? I feel like
Right.
I tapped into it a little bit.
Right. I mean, first of all, the idea of House of Teas came about when we were living together. So we used to be
Yeah.
roommates in Astoria. So we lived under the same house. And we were trying to think of a name like during our first channel, and we were like, what can it be? Like House of Trans? I was
And we're
like,
like,
what
that
the
sounds like
hell?
a genre of music.
Right. I'm like, House of Ladyboys? No.
Excuse me. That was a
Not
definitely like,
that.
hell no.
Hell no. And by the way, we hate that word ladyboys. We think it's derogatory and gross. But I know all the trans women in Southeast Asia find it acceptable, but not me,
I
sorry.
don't. I can never. Like, I understand that's part
No,
of like their culture, but that's so degrading.
I
That's
don't like that.
so degrading. I don't know how they're programmed to think that it's not degrading.
Yeah, I don't know. It must be a cultural thing. But anywho, we decided like, oh, like we're like tea girls, and we're like teas. Like there's multiple of us. Teas. It's just play on words. And then at the same time, Lady Gaga just came out,
Oh, that's
and
right.
and then she had like House of Gaga, and we were like House of Teas, blah blah blah, and that's kind of how it went. And
Yeah, that's
you
pretty
know.
much how it went. Like
That's pretty much what it was.
when we heard it for the first time, we're like, "That's it, that's it."
Right.
Oh, by the way, it
Eh,
was a YouTube channel that we were making.
yeah, we had a YouTube channel, and this is before all the influencers now. This was, what, 12 years ago?
Yeah,
So,
this was like 2011.
yeah,
I
like,
remember.
yeah. So there wasn't really any trans representation on YouTube. Um, and I kind of regret us not moving forward with it since then. But
Yeah,
things
well,
happen for a reason.
for sure. I mean, we'll tap into what happened to it in a little bit.
Yeah. And we didn't have the biggest following, but we definitely had followers.
Yeah, we did.
And we definitely felt like there was something special. There was like magic that if we kept moving forward, we felt, and a lot of people felt that it could be successful. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's true. We did have a lot of
So
people who, are doing great things now.
believed in us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
believed in us a lot, and we did because this was a house where two modern trans women can discuss like, you know, fashion, discuss food, discuss lifestyle, discuss like things like any other person can discuss. Just the difference is that, we have to go through it as two trans women, which is a lot of times way more difficult. We don't get the first hand, we don't get the first yes. We
And
have
at
to
the
go.
time, there wasn't a lot of trans exposure like there is today.
Oh, I know. So
There were so many
true.
there's like a lot of actresses and singers and performers now that have seen like the spotlight and are more mainstream. This is like before Caitlyn Jenner, before Laverne Cox, before any of them. So we felt like we were doing something unique and different. And the fact that we were two trans women that weren't sexuality first and playing those dumb games, like we would just be considered ourselves just women that just wanted to succeed and, find sisterhood amongst one another. And I feel like that's what we wanted to encapsulate into a channel.
House of Tease
Yeah.
is. Yeah. Love that for
Right.
us.
Right. Until it wasn't. So
Which leads to the next question.
question.
What
Yes.
happened to House of Tease?
Okay.
Abbreviations are hot,
Why
by
do
the
I
way.
I think they got that with the dramatic intro. Oh my god. Okay, so what happened? Do you wanna go
Yeah.
first?
Well, we had a fallout. Um, but
Yes.
we need to explain the living situations and the pressure that we
Yes.
were under and all the factors that played into that day that we fought like cats in the
Yes.
alley.
Right. Oh my god.
So it all started with like, of course, we had House of Teas, but we went through so much during that time. Like I was like literally going through many like living situations at that time. I had moved in with someone that was completely psycho and
So
I
psycho.
I needed to get out. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened. Like this guy that he was like a drug addict and he pretty much like wanted me to have sex with him and like putting me
Girl.
in weird situations. He was having weird parties and I was just like, "Oh no, I can't live like this." Which tricked me because was initially helping me find an apartment because he was like a realtor, someone like you just hire randomly. And yeah, so I needed to get out of the situation. So at the time, Veronica lived in Sunset Park in this like two bedroom that should have been
Right.
just one bedroom studio situation.
Literally, it was a studio apartment that the shady ass landlord turned into a two-bedroom by taking the living area and then dividing it into two. So I was living with one of my friends that I've known for many years. Hey, Royce, what's
Hi,
going on?
Royce.
Hi.
Oh, I love Royce, who
And
turned out to be my roommate like the last 4 years that I lived in New York.
right. So at the time, he was in a relationship and he was willing to move into my room, which was significantly smaller. Um,
Mm,
and then Desiree would move in because what happened was, from what I remember, your old roommate, the crazy drug addict one, like took your rent money, right? And then like
yeah. Oh,
and
yes. I
spent
found a
it.
note. I found a note on the door that we were gonna get evicted. He was using my
Yes,
rent money to like, I don't know, do buy his drugs.
right. And then didn't he? And then you confronted him, and he got physical, and you were
Oh
like,
my
"Oh
God.
hell no!"
I was like, oh fuck no, this is it. So yeah.
Right. And that's when I prompted her, like, you need to get out of that situation and move in with me until, you find a more permanent place.
Yeah.
So she did. She moved in, and we literally lived in this tiny studio apartment with like four people.
It
It
was
was
like
me and her in one room,
it
and
was
then
this big and
Royce.
we were this big.
Yes, literally.
All right. We were explaining, oh yeah, our living situation.
Oh yeah, so you were living with some crazy like psycho.
Psycho Russian. He was Russian.
He was Russian that was trying to
Yes.
like
Rape
sexually assault
me.
you for
Yes.
real.
Ugh.
What?
And he was ugly. I mean,
Ew.
not that that mattered, but like,
You're like, but he was hot.
if he was hot, I would have been like, ugh. So yeah,
Right.
we shared a room and we had bunk beds.
Yes, not Desiree and the drug addict, me and Desiree. So we literally lived in a tiny
Woo.
apartment in a tinier room
Yeah,
on bunk beds, keep in mind. And then we also worked in the same industry
yeah.
and had the same groups of friends. And
Mhm.
like literally, it would be like we would go to work, hang out together, hang out after work together with the same friends, and
Yeah,
then
because we
go
had to
home.
record episodes.
Yes, and then we were trying to do House of Tease at the same time. And then it was just like, it was just too close for comfort, you know? I think anyone, if you lived in a situation where you guys are like, oh, your camera went out a little bit, but, and I think living in such close proximity, we both were kind of like shady to one another.
We were just
And
throwing shade back and forth.
yeah, we were just being
Unintentionally, I don't feel like we meant it. We were just so, like we were just
annoyed.
annoyed with each other, and, like, we didn't wanna see each other anymore. Like, we were just like, "We're doing the most. We're doing everything together."
Right. And it was just too much. I think the breaking point, I mean, what was like how would you say it all like went down?
Well,
I think it was
you had the
it
pressure of your parents too, because you were going back and forth to, go see your parents who were sick at the time, and then you were just feeling, I guess,
stressed the fuck out.
uninspired, stressed out, uninspired, and there was a moment when you pulled me aside and you said that you didn't want to do House of Teas anymore. And I think that's where, like, it all began, where, like, I felt very, in a sense, like, betrayed and, like, kind of, like, disappointed, because I knew that we had something good, and, like, I didn't want to let it go. I didn't want to let it go, or, like, you were, like, completely, like, almost done with it. Whereas, like, I would understand if, like, you wanted to take a moment and pause, but you said you don't want to do it anymore. So it was like a big shocker for me, and it threw me, like, by a big it, like, hit me like a big wave,
Right.
and I
And I think
didn't
it
want it
was
to end.
yeah, and I think it had to do with just like um us hanging out too much, us literally sleeping on top of one another. And I was
Yeah.
just like, and then on top of it, we're gonna film something. It was just like, I mean, like, I can I have
Yeah.
like, can I have like a moment to my fucking self? And then your little shady comments.
What
It
shady
was
comments?
like,
Like
I don't know
what?
why this one sticks out all the time, but
Which one?
like when like if somebody would compliment my makeup or something, you would be like, oh yeah, I couldn't wear that much makeup, or I don't need that much makeup, or some shady shit like
I
that.
would
I'd be
say
like,
what? Oh my
yes.
god.
You'd be like, oh, that's okay. Like it's like, oh, I don't do that. That's too much makeup for me. Like shit like that.
I don't remember saying that, but okay.
I'd be like, this bitch. It's like I
Wow.
can't, and then so I would say do like say shady shit back.
Yeah. I mean, I felt it too, because I felt like you would always come from, like, my looks, like my fashion, that's
Oh,
because I admit it, like, it was very, like, like, not, I wouldn't say trashy. I would just say it was just from a different state. Because I don't want to call Texan girls trashy, but everything was short, everything was tight, everything had to show off my body, and, like, I feel like you threw me shade a lot of times.
I mean, I did.
I was
I
like, "Is this
mean,
bitch jealous of my body?"
I mean, and it was just stuff like that. It was just little things
Yeah,
that usually wouldn't get to me, like because of the proximity. I was so annoyed.
yeah, I could
You know what
understand
I?
that. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I feel like at the time too, you were like in like I don't know, like your focus was different than mine
Yeah,
because I
like, I
was
started hanging out with new people, and, like, And I
Yes.
started like partying even more like
Yes.
differently and like yeah. I do recall that.
Yes. And I wasn't necessarily liking the people that you were hanging out with. And then and I was like, ugh, whatever. And then I felt like your focus is and then at the same time I was going through a very personal thing with my family, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
So my priority wasn't to like party and go out, you know what I mean? Like it
Yeah.
wasn't like it was like, can I just like not like jump off the building? You know what I mean? So
God. Which happens
yeah.
frequently in New York, so yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone has like suicidal thoughts living there for real.
Oh my God, yes.
They pretend they don't, but
It's a very high pressure city, that's for
it
sure.
is. It is very high pressure. So I was literally going through it and your focus was to like party and like try to find like hot rich guys. It was just I was like, girl, I'm over it.
Ah. I mean, yeah, that was my logos.
Right. That was your focus. Focus of a decade.
Yeah. And so, like, when that happened, I was like, well, I'm not going to end House of Teas. I'm going to continue it on my own. So I was kind of trying to figure out, what I was going to do with House of Teas. And
Yeah.
it was just going to be a one woman show. I was just trying to figure out. So I was like tweaking little things here and there. And I
Can't hear
guess
you.
I didn't,
Yeah. I mean,
not interrupting our live
I
video.
know. Not interrupting us.
So, anyways, I was
But
tweaking things of all of our accounts and especially our YouTube channel. And I think I changed it to like Desiree's Diaries or something stupid like that.
something like that. And then I
Something like
remember
that.
looking like signing into it or something. And then it was changed. And I was like, I
You,
was so
I
upset.
didn't recognize you. I didn't recognize you.
I turned into fucking, I don't even know. Like, literally, I was so angry because it's like
Like
something we.
Panda, like you know the red panda, how they turn into the panda when they're mad.
Uh, literally, because it's like it's something we built together, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then for you to take that and then try to claim it as your own, I was like, okay, that was a fucking annoying. If you wanted to like come out with your own channel, then come out with your own fucking channel, but don't, you know, like take what we worked on together.
Well, that's how I felt when you said you didn't want to do it anymore. So I was like, oh, this
Yeah.
bitch. So fuck it.
Well, like fuck it.
I'm gonna do it on my own. I'm gonna have
Right.
other T girls in it. Like that was like my mindset,
You're what?
you know.
What was your mindset? You're gonna
That
what?
I was gonna have like other T girls come in and out and
Not recruiting other trans women to
well
replace
not
me.
permanently.
I mean,
Not permanently. They're gonna be guests. So anyways, she blew up and
I
she's like,
blew up.
you need to get out. You need to get out. You need to find a new place. You need to delete all those recordings and I'm not gonna stop until you delete them or I'm gonna sue and blah 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 blah. Like I was just like, excuse me? And the bitch kicked
So
me out. The bitch
I
kicked me
did.
out.
I did. And we didn't that was literally the last time we talked.
Yeah.
Literally.
I mean, of course. At that point, I felt so like, ugh, I'm done. I'm done with everything. I'm done with House of Teas. I'm done with this apartment. I'm done with her. I'm done with everything.
And then yeah,
Yeah.
that was that was pretty much it. And we were both kind of like, fuck you, like for the
Yeah.
next
And we
like
didn't
3 to
speak to
5
each
years.
other for like since then. When was that? Do you remember?
That had to be 2014, 2015, 2014,
Yeah.
15.
Somewhere around there.
Yeah, because I
I'm like,
moved
let
here.
me look at my photos and see the last photo I have of you.
That's I remember you had crispy blonde hair.
Oh my God. Super crispy.
Olaplex couldn't say that.
No, girl. They fucked me up.
Oh, who shall remain nameless?
I will not throw them
I
under their
mean,
bus. They're very successful now, so I'd rather not.
not that.